Good morning. This is Rob MacArthur from the CBD Curators. So, this morning I want to talk a little bit about what I believe is a symbiotic relationship between body and mind and pain and anxiety. So, my goal here is to sort of share my experience, pave the way for telling people how CBD has helped my life. So, a couple of things in my history. As I've mentioned, I have type 2 bipolar disorder. I have ADHD. I've got post traumatic stress disorder from some childhood trauma, et cetera, et cetera. So I've had quite a bit of stressors very early on in my life. And I have always had a lot of anxiety, chewing my fingernails, grinding my teeth, not sleeping well, irritability, and I could go on and on. But one of the things that's been a big negative for me too has been chronic muscle tightness. So my first surgery on my L5S1 disc was in 1986. I was 18 years old. I was in college, and I had swung a bucket around when I was working construction. Anyway, so my disc basically just blew up. And so when I went to the doctor, the neurosurgeon closed the door and said, there's really nothing wrong with your back except that you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You really need to see a psychiatrist because there should be nothing wrong with your back, but the psychological problems that you have are negatively affecting your physical well-being. And that translates into extremely tight muscles. So, lo and behold, many years later, when I was in drug rehab when I was 30, I ran into many other patients in the rehab who had bipolar disorder and or PTSD. Obviously, they had substance abuse just like I did. And guess what? They had back surgery. They were carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. So, no amount of Pilates or yoga or therapy or massage or any of that, stretching, that's all just BS because my body gets tight when I get anxious. So, I'm in pain when I'm under stress. And I unfortunately have had quite a bit of stress. And I've spent all this time looking for ways to loosen my body and stretching. And anyway, none of that worked. And so when I started taking CBD in early 2019 for pain, what I did not really account for or expect was that I believe that CBD is a very strong anti-anxiety, whether it increases dopamine or serotonin and all that kind of stuff. I don't really care, but I think when the mind is anxious and it manifests itself in your body in the form of tight muscles, and when you have very, very tight muscles, it puts a lot of pressure on the joints because the body is really just not moving as freely and flowing as much as it should. So the symbiotic relationship is that CBD, with I believe probably the THC component in the full spectrum, acts as a muscle relaxer. So you have a muscle relaxer and what I would call a brain relaxer. CBD reduces anxiety and stress in the mind, and the little bit of THC, the 0.3% or less, is the muscle relaxer. So I feel a lot better. My body is really, really loose because my mind is really, really loose. I no longer have the amount of stress and anxiety, and my brain is basically saying, hey, thanks very much for giving me this CBD, I'm going to allow the rest of the body to loosen up. And guess what that's allowed me to do? I'm going to exercise a whole lot more. And I've always hated exercise with a passion. And I know people go for runs and they get the endorphin buzz. I never got any of that, you know. Was too much of an adrenaline junkie to get any kind of, you know, a little bit of high or whatever from going running. That's all BS. However, with CBD, I'm basically joining the human race because my body is relaxing. And so I enjoy using full spectrum products that have that trace amount of THC because I'm convinced that trace amount of THC is really of vital importance to causing the muscle relaxation. At least that's some of the research that I've done. There's probably other cannabinoids in full spectrum CBD that helps the muscle relaxation. So as I learn about CBD, I want to share with you how it has helped me so that maybe it can help you too. Thank you very much.